Hi, this video is about common denominators. By the end of this video, you should be able to find a common denominator between two fractions. So let's take a look. When comparing two fractions to see which one is bigger or if they're equivalent, it's a lot easier to do that if they have the same denominator. Let's take a look at two fractions, 2/5 and 3/5, which have a common denominator, and we want to tell which one is less than, greater than, or if they're equal to each other. If we draw a picture to illustrate the two fractions, it's easier to see that the left-hand side is a lot smaller than the right-hand side, meaning that 2/5 is less than 3/5. But I don't want to draw a picture every single time, so there's got to be a way to tell just by looking at the numbers. Well, we know that 10 is going to be bigger than 9, so 10/20 has to be greater than 9/20. So when they've got a common denominator, it's really easy to see which one is bigger. But what if they don't have a common denominator? Let's look at these two fractions, 4/10 and 5/20. What we need to do is make a common denominator. And to do this, we find the lowest common multiple between 10 and 20. In this case, it's 20, and I need to change both my fractions so that their denominators are both 20. So how do I do this? Well, with the left-hand side, I need to multiply by 2, because 10 times 2 will give me 20. Whatever I do to one number, I've got to do to the top number as well. So 4 times 2 is 8, giving me the equivalent fraction of 8/20. Now I can compare 8/20 to 5/20 because I don't have to do anything to the right hand side. It's really easy to see that 8/20 is going to be bigger than 5/20, meaning I'm using a greater than symbol. Going back to my original question, 4/10 is going to be greater than 5/20. Let's have a look at another example where the denominators are not the same. Here I have 3/5 and 4/7, and I need a common denominator. To do that, I find the lowest common multiple between 5 and 7. The easiest way to do that is to multiply the 5 and the 7 together. It will definitely give me a common multiple, but maybe sometimes it's not going to be the lowest. But let's have a look at this example anyway. Now, I'm going to multiply my left-hand side, my 5 by 7, and my right-hand side, my 7 by 5. So I'm just multiplying them by each other. This will give me a common denominator of 35. Whatever I do to one number, I've got to do to the top number as well. So 7 times 3 gives me 21, and 4 times 5 gives me 20. Now I'm going to compare the left-hand side, which is 21 over 35, to the right-hand side, which is 20 over 35. And it's easy to see that the left-hand side is greater than the right-hand side. Going back to my original question, 3/5 is going to be greater than 4/7. So what should you write to learn something about common denominators? Well, it's good to have some steps written down. So these are the 3 steps that I went through to get my common denominators. It's also good to have a couple of examples written down that you'll understand if you go back and look at it again. It's also a good idea to have any kind of tips. Now, an easy way to find a multiple is by multiplying the denominators together. That's a good tip to have in your books. Pause the video and write it down so you have something in your book. That's it. It was a long one, but now you should be able to find a common denominator between two fractions. Make sure you practice a lot of this because it's going to come up a lot in future lessons. Good luck.